Hey Tone, yeah, just about to put a brew down. I've just got a few things here I'm going to show you. That's just what I'm using now. New Brigalow tin, extra malt brewing sugar. I generally use these tins because they're foolproof, no mess, no fuss, easy to use. Got your sanitizer. Got a 5 litre jug with a plastic spoon. That's just all my stuff for me molasses wash I'm about to put in there. That's just like a 35 litre standard brew fermenter. These are my fermentosauruses that I was talking about. They've got the corny posts on the top and the pressure relief valve. You can pressure ferment with these. They've got a floating dip tube, so you can actually serve straight from these if you want to put them in a fridge. But I transfer them to a keg. Yeah, so I'll show you what I'm about to do. I'll just put the jug on, put 2 litres of boiling water in there, and I put 2 shot glass of the sanitizer in to my 5 litre jug with all the components in there, and then I pour the 2 litres of boiling water in there. But never pour boiling water into a fermentosaurus because it'll shrink and contract and yeah, it'll stuff it. So I only put lukewarm water in these things with 2 cupfuls of the liquid sanitizer. But I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, here's the 2 litres of boiling water going in, and the 2 cupfuls of sanitizer already in there. You can pour the boiling water over this stuff. This is all good. The hotter the better on this because yeah, it'll sterilise everything. Okay. Yeah, just get a bit of a stir up. Leftover sanitizer you can put into a spray bottle, and you can use it just for like sprinkling on the handles and whatever on your beer connectors and stuff. Keep it all nice and sanitised. So, anyway, I've got this bowl here that I pour all this in there, so I can use my jug now. Jug's nice and sanitised, so it's right to go with the brews. But what I'll do, I'll boil another 2 litres of water into that, and I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. The fermentosaurus has come with this floating dip tube. Always take the dip tube off. It's got a gas post. The gas post has always got the notch in it. It's got a liquid post. Take it off the liquid post, and you can sterilise these separately. I only use lukewarm water on these things because I've got a steel floating ball. You could probably, I don't know, I reckon if you got it too hot it'd probably burst it. But I actually made up these stainless steel droppers too, because what I found is when these things are floating, sometimes they'll actually float out of the beer, and you end up bloody sucking air. And yeah, it's a pain in the ass when you're trying to transfer it to a keg. So I put those dip tubes on just to sink it down just below the surface. So that's a little tip I can tell you. But if you get one of these standard ones, you don't need to. You can hook it straight up to a bloody your standard tap. So yeah, I just made up a little hose with a disconnect that clips onto these things straight into the bottom of the tap, and then you turn her on and she just gravity feeds into the keg anyway. So now these caps here, these can handle boiling water, so I just throw them in the boiling water there with the sanitizer, with the lids, all nice and sanitised when you go to put the beer in. Anyway, the jug's just about to boil, so yeah, I'll sanitise these things, and then I'll show you about transferring the kit into the jug and then into the fermenter. So I'll be back in a sec. Now I'm about to put the brew down, so you lift the lid up and you notice it's got the yeast underneath the lid. A lot of people don't use this yeast, but I do. It's just a general bloody yeast that they put in the can. You know, I've never had a failure with it, so I use it all the time. But I normally stick to the keep it simple, stupid plan. So these tins are about like $14, I think they are, or 12 or $14. That's $4.50, and you get something like 52 schooners out of a batch. So like it's pretty economical going. So yeah, I've tried the hops and crap like that, but I'm not a real hoppy beer drinker. I like me Canadian blondes and stuff like that in my drafts. So like your normal sort of Tooheys New, you can do a 4X bitter or something like that. Yeah, it's all pretty good. Now a little tip that they don't tell you on the at the home brew shop, but you'll learn as you go. I've opened the tin probably 3/4 of the way. Yeah, a bloke showed me this once upon a time. You start pouring your extract in, because it's so thick. You can actually put your spoon across the top of your container and voila. You don't have to sit there and hold the bloody thing. It can sit there and just drain away by itself. Now while the extract's running into the container, I just put 2 litres of, or 2 30ml things of Star San or Stella San into there with 2 litres of lukewarm water. Then you can put the lid on without the float tube and all that in. Screw it down. Now I get that and I shake the living shit out of it all the way around, sluice it around so the whole vessel is sanitised. So you make sure you go all the way around it and sanitise the whole lot. Now the best thing about these fermentosauruses is the container that they got, like the steel frame that they got. Like I've tipped the sanitizer out of this one into this one now, ready to sanitise this. But you can sit them on your kitchen bench and you can turn them upside down, they sit there and they drip away in the drain. So they clean themselves. Rightio, that extract's nearly all finished. So what I'll do is I'll get the 2 litres of boiling water that I had, and I'll fill the actual extract can up with the boiling water, and it'll get all the excess residue off the outside of the can. And yeah, and then I'll tip all of that straight into the juggie. Now it's all mixed in like with the hot water. So you just give her a good stir. It's really thick molassesy type stuff to start with. So you just keep stirring until it liquefies. It'll come liquid after a bit. Now you can see how runny that is now. That's ready to put the sugar in. So I'll just cut open that bag there and pour it straight into there. Just go slow because it'll climb up your spoon and whatever you get it stuck on, it'll stick to. So yeah, I normally put my spoon to the side and then just dribble it in slowly. Right, sugar's going in. I always cut the whole length of the top of the bag off, because if you get that little flap that hangs over, it'll bloody put sugar everywhere. So yeah, you just sort of slowly let her in and it'll actually sink underneath the surface. You see it's starting to drop down now, so I'll just keep dropping down and sit on the bottom eventually. Slow up a bit. She's slowly glooping down. That's yeah. So start slowly stirring her up. And what you want is you'll get those big clumpy balls of sugar. Just keep going until it comes out nice and consistent and smooth. You see a few little white dots here and there, but you just go through and try and break them up as best you can. Basically what you want is just liquid if you can, but if you've got a few little lumps and chunks, doesn't matter. The yeast will sort it out later on anyway, so. Alright. Rightio, that's all thinned out. All the sugar's mixed in. She's ready to go. I'll just pour it into the top of that. And I always do it in the sink because it can get bloody messy if you miss. Yep, she's going in. Ready to go. Now I always keep my dip tube and that ready to go, because the last thing you want to do is have fruit flies and bloody flies and whatever bloody land in that after you've done all the hard work to get it there. So always have the dip tube and everything ready. I'll throw it straight in over the top. You put your lid on, or just like only just sort of sit it on, and that's it. That's ready to go. We're out in the shed now, so what I'll do, I'll show you what I'm doing, because if you fill it right up while you're here, it's too bloody heavy to lift. You'll be struggling. So I always put it right where I'm going to leave it, and then I'll fill it up with that jug, just with fresh water, up to 24 litres. So 23 litres, sorry. Yeah, 23 litre batch. Yeah. So I'll show you what I'm doing. Rightio, we're out in the shed where it's going to be sitting while it's fermenting. Yeah, there's a jug full of the water. Just going to fill that up to 23 litres. Okay, you got the 23 litres. Cut the top off the yeast, and then it's just a matter of sprinkling that sucker in. All the way. The yeast sits on top of the bubbles there. Those bubbles settle down, the yeast will start bloody activating, and yeah, screw the lid on. Nice and tight. Now what I've got, and you don't need these, but I bought these, what they call spunning valves. And what I do is after it starts fermenting, you can adjust the pressure. Which one's the gas post? That's the gas post. I just clip on your gas post like that, and then I'll wake up in the morning and that thing will be like bloody 10 psi or something or other. Yeah, and that's it. Ready to go. 10 days later, that should be finished, ready to go. The way I normally check that it's finished is your bubbles on the top, they'll froth up to about that high, and then over a period of like say 10 days, they gradually get smaller and smaller. Then you end up with a ring of bubbles in the middle, and then that'll just dissipate to absolutely nothing. You'll just have just no bubbles on the surface whatsoever. That's when I know it's finished, done. So, all right, I'll send this through to you, mate. Here's the both finished products with the spunning valves on them. What I normally do is I kept the boxes, and because you're supposed to keep them out of light, I just tip the box upside down over the top of them. I'll show you. just like that. And then yeah, just check your pressure and wind your spunding valve in and up or down to get it at about 10 psi if you can. Yeah, and then 10 days later you'll have beer, and then I'll show you how to transfer it. Okay, this is the next day. You can see there she's working. The yeast is bloody activated. So she's set on about 10 psi. Same with this. I've actually changed the pressure relief valve on this one. The home brew shop selling one's set at 10 psi now, so instead of putting a spunding valve on it, I'm just going to put a 10 psi pressure relief valve on it. And there's my molasses wash churning away. She's bubbling away pretty good, so it'll be ready in a couple of, or say 10 days as well, probably. All right, talk soon.